Good afternoon, everyone. This is Matt over at MilestoneCapitalGrowthPortfolio.com. Today is Tuesday, November 4th, and what a fantastic day. Just can't beat days like this. Why? Because if you follow on the videos, you're making money. It's that simple. If you're in the chat room, you're making even more money. But that's neither here nor there. Right now, let's take a look at the Dow. Well, all I can say is they're milking the clock. Soon it's going to head south. It's just that simple. I think we would have blown up by now. We have not blown up. We got a triple top in place, and your relative strength index is getting a little bit high here. But we were already discussing that, and started some positions today. Let's go over to the SPY, and I'll tell you why. All right, the SPY, yep, down very good. Like we said yesterday, it was a great grab yesterday on some puts. They're starting to look a little bit better. You know, you had a little bit of a daily gap right here that needed to get filled. It got filled, but there was no conviction to the upside. Relative strength index is still at 63, and you can see you're starting to get a little bit of a cross down on your stochastics. And let's get back into the 60-minute because I want you to see it. I said I wasn't going to do it, but I will. So you can see what I was saying. All right, look at this. So the trend from the bottom, right, on SPY over here, after we broke the middle Bollinger Band, notice all the way up this, it did not get under. It just completely acted as support. Okay, so that defined the trend to the upside. Until it breaks that middle Bollinger Band, it's in a bullish pattern to the upside. Okay, so it was a free ride all the way up. It was beautiful. Here, we broke it today. Okay, so by breaking this today, they tried 4 or 5 times to get through it, 3 times to get back through it. Couldn't get through it. This defines a new trend for us. So we are going to head down, and it's just that simple. It's technical. You have a gap right here at 199.52. And then we have the next gap. We got a little guy right. Oh, was that one filled? No, that wasn't filled. 196.53, and then the 190. So we also have the ECB this week. So there's the election tonight. So we'll have to see what happens tomorrow. But now that we're in the hourly, I can show you how the trigger is set. You ride it all the way up. Now you can ride it all the way down. The only reason you would buy calls on this is if it breaks this middle Bollinger Band. But for now, your odds are that it's going to head down. So we'll have to see what happens here. All right, let's take a look at PCLN. Amazing trade. Great job getting puts yesterday, everybody. If you did get those puts, earnings didn't work out very well. Well, they worked out great actually, but not for upside folks. So we had a massive pullback, and as I said, we were targeted this 1155 gap. But we were lucky enough to get this all the way down here. So the $9.35 puts that we were talking about hit $71 today. So congratulations, everyone. And another one was at $17 and went to $74. So we had some great trades on PCLN today. It was very tempting. Let me get this back on the daily. Sorry. It was very tempting to get back into calls. But there are a couple of issues here, and one of them is it's under the middle Bollinger Band, and I don't think it's going to go to the upside until it's done going to the downside. So, I'm going to keep an eye on this 1114 here for a break to the upside. But one thing that we have to be aware of is, and this is why you look at all time frames, take a look at your monthly, okay? So your monthly is back on the middle Bollinger Band, but unfortunately, it did puncture at one time today. You can see this little tiny hammer right here. The wick. It did break through this at one point today, but it did recover. But your relative strength index is at 65. So we have to keep an eye on this. If this breaks, then we could see PCLN going to 861. 861. That's why this is here, because that's where I have a gap on the daily. So we'll have to keep a close eye on this. So if I stretch this out a little bit, and I did a big discussion about this, but here's a gap on this one, and you can see the broken trend. It's really to the downside, and it's okay. I mean, the thing's been going crazy since I don't know, $100 or whatever. But anyway, here's what you want to keep an eye on. If this double bottom here, 1014, does not hold, you can see here that we're going to probably come down and get this gap. So it looks good on your stochastics, starting to turn to the downside. Heavy volume. It just needs a nice break, and it's going to get a nice break. So that's PCLN. All right, did a video on BIB over the weekend. Let's revisit that video. We've had a great move on this one to the upside, okay? It's just been fantastic, and there's nothing wrong with it. Go over that video, and you'll understand everything in detail, but look for BIB to come back down to 108 in that area, middle Bollinger Band. We do have this gap right here, so we could get a hammer to 100. You could see how your relative strength index is starting to cross to the downside. This is a daily chart, by the way, and your stochastics are starting to turn to the downside also. So it's okay. It's slowly drifting, but it's working off our trade, like we said. So keep an eye on this. It's definitely great for a long term, but for a short term, let's get this pullback, and then you can go for a long term. REGN is another one. REGN is broken. Yeah, earnings came out and that did horrible also. No big deal. We know where to buy it. Well, I do, and that's where I'm going to wait for. I'm going to sit here for 344.97. Am I going to short it until then? Yes, absolutely. So we have another $30 to roughly $30 to the downside before it decides what it's going to do, and it'll probably get a nice little bounce and come back up again. But for now, you could see that it's under the middle Bollinger Band on the daily, and the 50's right here, and the gap fill is right here. So let our EGN settle down. You could trade it to the downside and then play it back up to the upside. It's like a fiddle, nice and easy. GPRO, this company we love. It's just been fantastic for us. We alerted it back here in the 30s, down here, way back here, and then it was a buy. Called the exit at 100. 65, I think Ray was, 65. Ray said, all right, time to start loading up on this thing, and go along with it. And it's been a great for us ever since. It's back up to 88, had some good earnings, and I'm sure there's a lot of stuff coming for this company. So keep an eye on this one. Looks good. Any pullbacks, you do have a gap right here at 70. You should keep an eye on. So if you're not in this run yet, sit back and wait. Just set your market 70.34 and wait for this gap to fill, and then buy it for the long haul, and you should be okay. One more we're going to look at is BWP. BWP is, pulling back a little bit here. Can't get over that middle Bollinger Band. So what we want to do is keep an eye on this area right here for support and see if it holds. As long as it's under the middle Bollinger Band, it's going to keep heading down. But once we can get over the middle Bollinger Band, then we can get back to the upside. But it has a beautiful gap up here that needs to get filled, and we're hoping that it does get filled at one point. But seeing how oil prices are getting crushed right now, I think it's going to be a little while. But once we can buy these cheaper, we'll get them cheaper and then make some money. All right, this is Matt over at MilestoneCapitalGrowthPortfolio.com. I noticed we had a couple new members today. Welcome aboard. I'm sure there's going to be a couple more tonight after watching the video and after all you made on the last several videos. Now you can afford to pop in and hang out with us and learn from the pros. All right, everyone, this is Matt. Have yourself a fantastic night.